Hello everyone, I'm MadameMacabre and welcome to my video. As you can see, we've also got my little assistant, Artemis, behind us who's decided to join us for the video today. Speaking of today's video, I'm sure you already saw in the title of the video, we are going to be doing some tarot card spreads. For those of you who are new to this, don't worry, I will be explaining exactly how we do this for you. And for those of you who have done this before, I just ask for a little bit of patience. But before we get started, let's also talk about the theme of this reading. So this last year, a lot has happened and a lot has changed. I know personally for myself, absolutely, and absolutely for many of you too. It has led us to this weird place where we are now, at least in America, where with the vaccine being out and things starting to normalize a little bit and open back up, it's strange because the world directly around us is starting to feel normal, but we may not feel so normal. At least I can speak for myself. So much has changed in this last year. I have changed. And it's hard to look at life pre-Panettone, as we have to say because the YouTube censors, and then compare it to now, who we are as people now, how we've changed, and then trying to think, how do we go back to that? Can we go back to that? And frankly, I'm not sure. Not to say that what we're going to go into is worse and we're not going to be able to get back to a good normal life. It'll just be a new normal because I don't know, things, I mean, some of y'all may be lucky enough that things stayed the same, but for me at least, they did not. I have changed as a person, a lot has changed, and I am sort of feeling kind of confused now on how to move forward. And I was going to do a tarot spread for myself on this, and I thought, hey, maybe you guys would like a tarot spread to sort of help you out as well, sort of asking the universe, asking the magical forces, or if you're not into any of that stuff, some introspection to your own subconscious. How do we move forward? What do we need to know? What do we need to focus on? What is going to help us moving forward into our new normal? How do we move on and let go and become the new latest version of ourselves? So that is going to be the topic of today's spreads. Now, I mentioned I was going to explain how this works for those of you who are new. Essentially, in a moment, I'm going to be showing 3 different piles of cards, each with 3 cards in them, and they're all going to have a different stone on top of them. Your job now is going to be finding which one of these piles calls to you the most. Heck, more than one could call to you, and if that's the case, feel free to apply it to both. But in just a general example, we're going to go with 1. This could be as simple as the first one that calls to you, or you may even need to pause the video when I pull the piles up and need to reflect on it and really take a moment and decide which one is calling to you. Once you have your stack of cards, then we can move on to the next part. I'm going to then start reading through what the cards are and what they could mean and what they could mean together. And essentially what you can get from that is a message towards yourself, your own situation, and some advice on how to move forward. Now, you are more than welcome to just skip to your pile, or you can listen to all 3, because who knows, you could be like me where you get, you know, all anxious, and then you were initially drawn to one, but then you're like, no, I should go with this one, and then when you hear them read out, you're like, no, my gut was right, I should have stuck with that one, that was the card for me. So, we all good? And again, if you guys are already familiar with this, thank you for your patience. Without further ado, let's jump on in to what the cards have to say. Alright, so here are our 3 sets of cards. To the left, we have a beautiful piece of citrine, in the middle, a cluster of clear quartz, and on the right, a lovely chunk of malachite. Now, please take a moment to pick your set of cards. Which one calls to you? Are you drawn to the cards, the direction, the stone? Regardless, take a moment to think which one is calling you toward it. Got your cards? Great. Alright, let's begin. I'm going to start out with the pile on the left with the beautiful piece of citrine. I will give the card a moment to come into focus. Alright, perfect. Here we see the 3 of Wands. For those of you unfamiliar, the Wands is the suit following the journey of the laborer, the farmer who puts in the work, breaking his back with labor, planting his crop, and then ultimately waiting to collect the yield of the harvest. What we see in the Three of Wands is a farmer who has already planted his crop, and now he's watching the boat sail by, essentially having staked his claim, and he has to wait to see if it turns out. That's at least the symbolism behind this card. What the Three of Wands essentially means is you have made your choices, and now you're at a point where the only thing you can do is wait and hope and see how they turn out. So for this card appearing in your spread, it's essentially telling you that where you are right now in your life, you've made some choices, and you are in the process of waiting to see how those choices are going to turn out for you. For better or worse, you have made the choices, and now all you can do is hope for the best. Moving on to the next card. Let's give it a moment to come into focus. All right. Now here we have your first major arcana. This is the Devil. Now, what this card signifies is oftentimes issues with vices. So this card appearing here could be telling you that you may find yourself struggling with vices or even addictions. This doesn't necessarily have to mean a literal substance addiction, though that could be the case. It could also be a mental one or something a little bit less tangible, like too many games, too much Netflix, just sinking your time into it, or even unhealthy coping mechanisms that you have let yourself backslide into. It could be something that you are dealing with now, this addiction or this problem with vices, or it could be a warning that if you are not careful, you could easily become a slave to your own vices. And this card is telling you, keep an eye on that. All right, let's take a peek at the last one. Here we have the Six of Cups. Now this is also known as the nostalgia card. As you can see from the imagery, there's those sweet little kids, and then instead of water in their cups, they have flowers blossoming with memories of better times. Now, it is very easy to get caught up just thinking back to how great the past was, especially before good old, global incident times. Now, it is wonderful. It can help you find a source of strength thinking back on these good, positive times, but it can also be a warning that you can't be stuck in the past in your head, and you have to keep your feet on the ground. This card could also represent a more physical nostalgia element in that you may be having people or places from your past come back into your life. Maybe during the events of this past year, you have had to move back home. Maybe you had to move back with your parents or just back to your hometown, or maybe an old friend has popped up in your life. Okay, so here is one possible interpretation of these all together. So you have the card about choices, vices, and nostalgia. Potentially this last year, you have made some choices in regards to some vices or addicting things. This could have potentially gotten you in a spot of trouble and may have led to you needing to return home. Maybe these were bad choices and you are currently struggling with these vices at the moment, or perhaps you made some positive choices recently in order to deal with these negative vices, these negative habits you have slipped into. Maybe returning home or a figure from your past has helped you come to terms with these, and you are now in the process of trying to work through it. Either way, it would be most helpful for you to look back to better times for some inspiration. Obviously, it's not healthy to live in the past, and you're going to need to let that go to a degree. However, there's nothing wrong with striving to make things right again. Alright, moving on to that beautiful quartz cluster, the pile in the middle. We'll give the card a moment to come into focus. Another wand. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse. Now, in a normal cycle with the wands, this signifies the completion of a cycle and the great responsibility that came with it. Well, in reverse, this card is also speaking on that great responsibility, but it's too much for you. There's been something weighing so heavy on you that you're wondering if you can keep maintaining that responsibility. A lot of expectations are on you. You have been holding the show together, and boy, is it getting hard. Is this responsibility something you can delegate out to others to help you with, or is this even a responsibility you wanted to have in the first place and you need to have? Maybe think on that. All right, next card up. Here we have the Five of Cups, aka the Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk card. This card says, yeah, things suck. You have lost something important to you and you have suffered and struggled. That really sucks, but moping isn't going to do anything to fix your situation. Yes, grieve your loss, let yourself move on, but don't remain caught up in it because that is not going to help you move forward. Perhaps you need a paradigm shift. Maybe you need to change the way you're looking at this loss. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to grow and move forward. Who knows? All right, we have the last card in this set. And we have the Three of Cups. So that's a happier one. The Three of Cups is one of community and family and coming together in celebration, which is handy dandy now that we've got, at least in America, more and more people getting vaccinated and more people allowed to go and socialize. This card speaks of healing through companionship. And you know what? After the rough year you have had, you deserve it. Seek fellowship with those who are close to you. Spend some time together. Yeah, you may still have a ton of anxieties hanging over your head, but take a break. Be kind to yourself. Get together with folks that you care about and just relax. You may find yourself feeling immensely better and able to let that spilled milk go. All right, so once again, we're going to do one possible interpretation of the three of these together. With the Ten of Wands, you have had a ton of responsibility on your shoulders. Whether you chose it or not, it has been there, and it has been crushing you. Maybe along with this responsibility, it caused you to have to sacrifice something, leading into the Five of Cups. It has been a tough year. You've probably had to let some things go, some dreams, some hopes, some maybe physical things that you really loved and cared about and cherished, and you had to let them go. It has been a hard time accepting that, and you've had some time to grieve, or maybe you need to grieve it, but once you have grieved letting those things go, you have to let them go. There's no use staying hung up in it and torturing yourself again and again. You can't get back what is lost, but you can change the way you look about it. And just like with that Three of Cups, a great way to move on from that is seeking some companionship. Spend some time with your friends and family members. If you can't do that safely right now, you can do this digitally even. Regardless of how you choose to do it, this card is essentially telling you that what's going to help you heal and change your paradigm and move forward is not being alone and not letting yourself wallow in that misery. Go celebrate some good times with good people. Take a moment to disconnect from your responsibilities and your struggles and just enjoy being a person with the people you care about. All right, and with that, we're going to move on to our final set, which is under the lovely piece of malachite. All right, first card, here we go. Here we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Now, Pentacles is the suit that has most to do with finances and material things. And pages usually speak of the time being ripe for new opportunities. However, this card is in reverse. So what it's essentially telling us now is that over this last year, you have been putting a lot of thought into potential monetary opportunities, financial opportunities. However, since it's in reverse, this could mean that even though you have been trying a lot of new financial opportunities, they just haven't been working out for you, or you have been sinking tons of time and thought into these potential opportunities, but they have remained nothing but daydreams in your mind. You have tons of amazing thoughts, but you haven't actually done any of the action to make it happen, and unless you do so, that's all they will remain, thoughts. Moving to the second card, we'll get that into focus. Sticking with Pentacles, I see. The King of Pentacles, also in reverse. An interesting pairing with the Page for sure. So in reverse, the King of Pentacles seems to be telling you that you need to be careful not to let monetary financial gain be the only thing you focus on. Just as the page has been telling you that you've been thinking a lot about it, but not necessarily taking action, the king is warning you, don't let it be the only thing you care about. I know there is a lot of heavy stuff going on in the world right now, and it might be easier just to hyper-focus on money, but this card appearing is a warning telling you not to do that. Alright, let's move to the last card. Give it a second. Here we have another major arcana, the World. This card is interesting in that it often signifies a sense of completion, integration, accomplishment in your life, and most literally, actual travel. It can speak on having accomplished something, or if you were working hard on something, it can be a sign that you are close to finishing it. Alright, and for our final possible interpretation of these cards. So, with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, financial opportunities have not been the best for you. Maybe you've been spending a ton of time trying something out and it's just not been working out, or you've been thinking about things and dragging your feet, and in La La Land you have this great plan worked out, but you haven't been doing it. The king tells you that you have indeed been spending a lot of time focusing on the finances, but maybe too much time and focus has been going towards money. Have you been neglecting other parts of your life? Have you been stressing yourself out to an unhealthy degree, just constantly worrying about money? This card is a warning that there are more important things in life. After all, the next card in your spread is the World. Accomplishment, completion, integration. If you keep trekking forward and you put your mind to the matter, you can accomplish it. It's a sign that you will get there. However, you do need to keep in mind that money is not everything. Perhaps try pursuing something that brings you happiness just out of the joy it brings your heart. You never know what kind of satisfaction and accomplishment that will bring you. Alright, there we have it. All 3 cards from all 3 sets, and 3 of my possible interpretations of all of them. Now, mind you, there are different ways people can read the cards. This is just how I read them, so take that as you will. Whew, okay. Wow, I don't know what it is with tarot, but I'm very good at hurting my own feelings with them. They always seem to know exactly what to say that's right on target, but isn't very nice. If the cards hurt your feelings as well, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed this, please let me know, are there any other themes you would like to see some spreads like this for that you think would be nice for you as well as other people? I would be more than happy to do more of these videos as, again, with the good old Panasonic shutdown of the world, there hasn't been as much to do, so what I spent a lot of my time doing was really brushing up in my tarot study and, you know, increasing the skill in my craft. And now that I feel a lot more confident in my abilities, I want to integrate that more into my content since I'm still really burnt out on doing narrations, and this would allow something fun that I'm more passionate about to do to give you more content in between my regular musical updates. Anyway, all of that aside, I really hope that this video was at least comforting, if not helpful for you, because that's the main goal with all of this, is if it could help you feel at least a little bit better and a little bit more confident with the emotional, mental pickle you may have been in, then I have met my goal with this video. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to try and enjoy mine as much as I can with it being 95 degrees outside. I can't complain. I made this choice to move down to the desert. I have to live with it. Alright, guys. Well, once again, have a wonderful day. I will catch you all next time. Let me know if there's any other things you want readings on. Anyway, until then, stay creepy.